Tracy Taylor, my
man.
man. Dude, so we're both doing respect. How you feeling about that?
It's jiu-jitsu.
I know, man, but you don't compete that often outside of Worlds, and you got a fire under your ass after Worlds, dude.
I don't mind. Nobody likes losing, but beat me,
Yeah,
fight me.
yeah,
So I committed to it before World, so I'd already said I'd do it. And,
yeah.
And we've already discussed probably three different times doing different cards, and it just never worked out. Injuries or life gets in the way. So I said I'd do this one, and that was before Worlds, but I wanted to focus on that first. And
Here we are. When is next month, right? In October?
yeah, 16th.
The 16th?
Yeah, we should probably know that, right?
Today's
Yeah.
I have no idea. It's just another day.
And I don't look at it like I don't compete often because, I've been doing since I was 3, been wrestling. So
Yeah,
it's just another day, really.
it really is. I like that it's here because they're normally in Kansas City, right?
No, they do several here.
Do they?
Yeah, all the ones. They asked me to do that last Kansas City one. To be quite honest, kind of glad I didn't.
Really?
Production value.
Wasn't there?
No. And no disrespect. They've done some phenomenal ones.
Yeah.
Phenomenal ones. And, if you're going to do something, you're going to take your time away. You'd rather, you know what I mean? You'd rather be worth it.
Right. Oh, absolutely.
It's always worth it. So
it's a 3-hour drive there. It's much better when it's at home.
Yeah, but, it's always an experience. And
Yeah.
family. And one thing I think that's fun is people get caught up in, man, I have to eat the right meal. I have to have the right I need those socks to do this.
Oh, yeah.
You have to go through your preparation. Baseball players, hockey goalies. I don't get stuck with any of those things. I never have.
I like routines where you're like
do
superstitious.
I do the opposite. Like if I had that one thing that one time, then I won't have that thing. So I never get caught in that trap. So KC would have been kind of fun just because you get to go out and test yourself again.
Yeah. Well, I like to systematize things, so I don't mind doing the same thing. Like whenever I'd cut weight, I had a system.
Well, that's different. That's cutting weight. So you have to follow that protocol to be successful.
Yeah.
But what do you do when something goes wrong for competition because you put yourself in that system and you're like, I don't know what to do outside of that system.
Oh, yeah, like when you're being like rigid with the way you're performing.
Yeah.
Oh,
oh man, I forgot. I don't have that belt. I don't have my lucky belt.
Oh, yeah, people are weird like that.
Yeah, so I never worry about that kind of stuff. So I just kind of free. Go do
Yeah.
what I do, have fun.
Yeah. Man, where's it at?
I feel like, I don't know, you should know this.
You're the one who's been posting about it. I should probably advertise for it. I don't want to sell tickets. I don't care.
I'm not even really concerned about that. I think one of the first things I posted was I'm accepting sponsors now.
Oh, yeah?
And I think
your posts are hilarious.
I try to have fun. and I think when I mentioned accepting sponsors, it was, God, what's that? I hate that freaking chocolate. What's that? Australian chocolate.
Yeah, so the wrong guy.
Oh, man.
I like dark chocolate.
Yeah, that's good for you, too.
70. I usually get 85% cacao.
Yeah.
But I don't know what chocolate you're talking about.
Yeah, it's the frosting crap that a lot of people like. I don't like it. Yeah, anyway. I mentioned them because I can't stand it, and they'd be great for a sponsor. But it was all in jokes, but I try to have fun with it.
Oh, yeah.
And it's not about the ticket sales. If you sell some, whatever. But it's more about just, having the community come out, having a good time. And
the card is massive.
It is. And, and here's the truth. Whether 2 people show up or 2,000, same thing's going to happen.
Well, if everybody sells like 3 tickets, there'll be plenty of people because there's a shit ton of matches on this thing.
There are. It's heavy for us.
I think I'm like number 16, and I'm not even quite halfway.
Wow, there's that many?
Something like that. I might be exaggerating, but there's a lot, dude.
Yeah, I was guessing there was probably 12 matches, but
there's way more than that, dude.
Count.
Oh my goodness.
That's a long day.
You're not even through blue belts at 12. Seriously.
I might have to stay home till they call me to come over.
Yeah, it's gonna be a late one. They better start early.
I think it's 6:30.
On time?
Wow.
I've never been to one of these. Do they start on time? I've never been to a fight show that starts on time. Well, I shouldn't say never because actually Shamrock does actually typically start on time. So
I think you'd have to. Are the Brazilians involved?
it's JW.
So I'm just saying. So it'll probably start on time. If there's Brazilians or black people, then no.
CPT, man.
CPT. Yeah, but it'll be a good time.
It'll be
So,
fun.
yeah. But regardless, 2 people or 2,000, I'm gonna do the same thing.
Yeah.
You're gonna do the same thing.
Oh yeah.
I'd do it behind closed doors. I don't really care.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, man. I'm probably gonna pull guard. That's not popular. I don't know why. I don't know. I mean, I get it. Like
Oh, you
you
do
want
your
the
game.
takedown, but
Who
I
cares?
feel so dangerous from my back. I feel so dangerous from my back.
I think judging for anybody what they do is overrated. Do
Yeah.
what you do.
Yeah.
Who cares?
People frown upon it though.
I
I'm
don't.
doing it though. I'll
It's
make contact though. I'll make contact. Then I'll sit down,
right.
and then I'm gonna
You're
work.
not saying you're gonna butt scoot. You're just gonna
No.
pull guard.
Yeah.
And who cares? You have to go where you feel most dangerous.
Yeah.
Mr. Liddell, wrestler who decides to strike and sprawl and brawl and stay up, and a wrestler
Yeah.
like you that just pulls guard. I mean, whatever.
Yeah. I mean, I could get the takedown. Try to go for the back. Try to force the back.
I feel like we should not be releasing this information.
Oh, we're just talking.
Just joking.
I like to
But
see
hey,
him stop it.
There you go. I was gonna say. I always say you got to stop me though.
For real.
Right. Got to stop it. Who cares? Right.
Yeah.
But I tell you what would have been interesting. I didn't know there were kids on the card, or I might have pushed to try to get a couple kids on the card.
There are some kids on the card, aren't
Yeah.
there? Not many though. I don't believe. I think like two or
maybe
three.
Yeah. That'd been fun. Try to get like Rickson or some of the kids from the program on there.
Let Rickson show out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be fun. Watch somebody get tossed in their head.
Well, and that is just like a cool environment to be in,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You got people around.
Sure.
Is it elevated? They do an elevated platform?
So that's part of what I meant by better shows. They've done several here. One of the ones I went to here is at the Chase Park Plaza, downtown,
Uh-huh.
and the stage was elevated. They had, lights. Everything else was a little darker, right on the mats. It was great, just like you see Metamoris or the other ones.
Yeah.
When I went to in Kansas City, it kind of gave you the feeling of we had a tournament here earlier that day and we're going to use the same space. It had that feel, and that's kind of what they did. It just didn't feel as special.
Yeah, you want to like transform the space.
Yeah. But that
from
being said,
one event to the next.
it's not my money. You know what I mean? You have the space, and so why not use it and maximize it? I get it.
Oh, I get it too.
Yeah,
I
completely
get it. But
So,
from an experience standpoint,
yeah.
if that's what you're trying to create,
For those that are actually competing and for those that are watching, I'd rather be part of that experience. But
yeah,
it is what it is.
they're separate brands too,
They are.
right?
Yeah.
So you should treat them differently.
So again, but same stuff's gonna happen, I guess, right?
Yeah,
Who am I?
yeah.
You know?
What do we know? How do you like to mentally prepare for like competition?
I always tell myself, fate loves the fearless. That's one of my go-tos. And these things free me, because I don't believe in pressure. I think the whole idea to me is silly.
Yeah,
Pressure. I don't get it. I think
pressure is a
pressure's
privilege.
yeah. People put that on themselves. I think personally, and it's just so external. Like, what do I care about your opinion of what you think should be? You know what I mean? That doesn't mean that I don't care about somebody, but I'm out here. You're not out here.
Yeah.
So why would I let that bother me?
Some people just put the pressure on themselves.
And that's what I mean. That
Yeah.
It's you do it yourself.
Right.
And-
Well, like not even like people external, like just themselves. Like they want to do so well, they put pressure on
Yeah.
themselves.
So go be you.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing is nobody does you better than you.
Yeah.
So what's the problem?
Yeah. We need to be having this talk with our friend Julius
Yeah.
because I feel that he's like a tremendous athlete,
Right.
but he gets so nervous.
Yeah. Again. So okay. So the third thing, and then we'll address that.
Okay.
Because you is the second thing, and the third thing is, and I talked to Kelly D'Angelo about this before she went out for her last fight, and she beat the purple belt, I forget, brown belt, purple belt, whatever. And she and Jimmy, her husband, sent me a picture right before she walked out, and it was the moment where she said to herself, the conversations we had where don't let any moment be bigger than you,
Yeah.
because without you, there's no moment.
Right.
And I fully believe that.
Those are your three mantras.
Yeah, those are my three mantras, and that's it. And it's that simple to me. What else is to worry about? You can't do
Right.
me better than me. Nobody can do you better than you.
Yeah.
So just go be yourself. Don't try to be anything else. Just go do you.
Yeah.
Free yourself of it and go have fun.
Yeah.
That's it.
I had a wrestling coach tell me that like that person has to worry about you just as much as you're worrying about them.
100%.
So like why worry at all?
Yeah. I mean, you really have to understand that everybody's got anxiety. And I think anxiety, when it comes to performance, is a good thing.
Yeah.
Because it's the
If you
thing
use
that,
it well.
yeah, it's the, well, I mean, I think by definition, so let me ask you this. When you get anxiety, is it typically about performance anxiety, and not with your girlfriend, Adam, on the mats,
Right. Well,
okay?
okay. Now we
What,
cleared that one up.
what, just want to set some boundaries here. We have guests. What might be one of the things you might worry about?
For me, so the only thing that would really give me like super anxiety would be it would be like fighting, and I would just be thinking about all the unknowns. It's like the unknowns, like this could happen, that could
For
happen.
instance, give me something specific.
Oh man, well you just don't know. Like you don't know if this guy's gonna come out there and go batshit crazy on you, and or if he's gonna come out there nice and relaxed, or if you're gonna get and you just start making up these crazy scenarios,
Sure.
whether they're realistic or not.
But
Like
did you play through those scenarios then?
yeah, you just play
Okay.
through 'em. You have to learn how to like to conquer
To
those.
manage it,
Yeah,
right.
to
So-
manage that and just it's not real.
So once you play through those,
Yeah.
do you feel better?
Yeah. Well,
So that's my point.
I try to frame it, even if I
Right.
don't even play. I'm just like, okay, well, yeah, you like you said, you play through it because you practice it all the time.
Right.
And like, if I get in the situation, then you just work through it. No big deal.
So why be worried and why have anxiety?
Oh, 100%.
And I think that's the point is anxiety is a good thing because it typically tells you what you need to concentrate on.
Oh yeah.
It tells you, man, I'm really worried about this guy getting my back. So then guess where you should probably go work from? Somebody having your back.
Yeah.
And and then you sort through that and you work through it and it's no longer an issue. And then you feel confident. I haven't been in a match yet at black belt and felt like I wasn't in a match. And I think that's a huge thing because I don't know if you ever truly feel like you're black belt. Maybe I'm just some kid that was from Oklahoma. You know what I mean? Like you just are who you are and you don't really think about that kind of stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the day I got my black belt, I should say, well, I want to say most likely, but I was absolutely the same person that received the black belt 2 months before that. What changed? Nothing.
Yeah.
Maybe getting a nod and somebody telling you you're this level. But, I mean, I was that same person, so why am I going to worry about it? If you believed in me enough to give that to me, then I have to go out and trust the process when I'm on the mat. And if I know that person's got anxiety as well or has man, why do I do this? Because everybody kind of walks out there going, why do I do it? Man, this kills your stomach. You know, the bathroom. It is what it is. Who cares? Let's go have fun.
Yeah.
So I kind of free myself of all that and think, well, if it's a fight, well, man, this guy's going to punch me. And I kind of smile and go, yeah, but I get to punch him too. So that relieves me of everything.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it fun.
Well, after having fought MMA, like
Everything else is easy.
Yeah, anything else is
Yeah.
It's just jujitsu.
Right.
It's
That's all it
just
is.
boxing. It's
Nobody's
just
punching
kickboxing.
me.
Like
Yeah.
or even if it was just like boxing or kickboxing, it's like all right, well at least I'm not getting like taken down. I don't have to worry about these.
Right. One less thing to worry about.
Yeah,
Or
just
the process.
The weapons get
Right.
less.
But, I got my master's in sports management, emphasis in sports psychology. I knew from probably junior high that was an interest for me. And I remember one of my neighbors giving me a book on sports psychology. He was a runner, and I would go out and he'd see me running and preparing for track and preparing for wrestling.
Yeah.
And just out always kind of working. And then he'd ask me questions and talk to me. And then I don't remember how he really framed it, but he's like, I think you'd be interested in this book. And he gave me a book on sports psychology.
Yeah.
He's like, this is, I think, kind of where you're coming from and who you are.
Have you read The Rise of Superman?
Have not.
Oh man, it's a great book. Basically talking about just like the human potential, like through the mind, and like being in the flow state and like what that can unleash as far as like what humans are able to do. It's a great book. I think it's by Stephen Kotler, I do believe.
Okay.
And then there's a follow up to it called Stealing Fire, which is again more about like flow state and like Navy SEALs and different like high performers and different things. There's some pretty good books. You like them.
Let's touch base.
Yeah.
Make sure I
Oh,
get
for
'em.
sure. You like both of those books.
There's nothing better, I think, than being in a flow state and just being in your environment. I try to induce that
Yeah.
before I go on the mat. And it's really repeating those three mantras kind of throughout the day or leading up to the event. And then I kind of go back to when I was a kid and when you felt most free being a kid.
Yeah.
And that would be, for me, it was either sitting in the back seat of my parents' car when we were going anywhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The window down, and I was sitting behind my dad, and you could feel like the cool breeze, and it's night, and if you faked it well enough, somebody's going to carry you in the house. You're free.
Yeah.
Or just being outside and playing in the summer and just putting your arms out like you could fly. And kind of just,
Yeah.
for me, that kind of induces a flow state of just being carefree, no stress. So I literally do that before match. I just
Yeah.
kind of close my eyes and I have my arms kind of out and I kind of just,
Yeah, before every match.
yeah.
See, that's your routine right
Yeah.
there.
But it's just the way well, I can't say this before every match, but that's okay because I can't leave that behind. I
Yeah.
can't forget that somewhere.
No, that's
But-
okay. I mean, that's how
but
you
it's-
induce that flow state.
It's probably the first match. After that, I don't think I really do it.
Yeah.
I think it just calms the nerves. I go relax. It's my way of making myself relax.
Yeah.
And then I'm good.
Well, like back, it's like it's not my favorite sport, but like back when you're playing football, right?
Uh-huh.
It's like after that first hit or a fight, even like
You
after
get
that
the
first
first
hit,
punch.
now you're in
Everything's
the mix.
Yeah,
You don't even
everything's
think
good.
about anything else.
Right.
So after that first, yeah, but that's like the basis of like sports psychology, right?
Sure.
Like how can we tap in to the human potential through
Right.
the mind so that we can go perform, which
Into
is
that
reach
focus.
that reach that flow state because
Right.
that's when we're at our best.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. And it's not. I remember being in grad school and then getting homework, and the teacher would be like, "Hey, you're gonna go watch your ESPN tonight." I love my life. Thank
Cool.
you. Right. Got it. I was gonna do that anyway, with beer.
Yeah.
And you just go through that stuff, and I remember thinking, how do you use what we're learning to better yourself? And for the life of me, I couldn't figure out how Shaquille O'Neal couldn't sink a free throw.
I saw him on a commercial today.
And to me, it had to be more of a mental thing than a physical thing because he's obviously a great athlete, and you've spent how many years of your life doing this one thing. That's a mental block.
Yeah.
100% to me a mental block.
He's just so big.
That's got zero to
It's
do
like
with shooting that.
awkward in his hands.
Shoot him one-handed. Shoot it underhanded.
He's just like, ego.
Right? Maybe.
Yeah. I wonder, did he practice?
Had to. I think it's part of practice.
Yeah. Well, maybe.
Yeah.
Is it? When you're
Yeah.
Shaq, when you're fucking Shaq, is it part of practice?
Hey, you still getting paid.
I don't exactly.
I mean, Allen Iverson said what? Practice? Talk about practice?
Why are we talking about that got taken out of context
It
so
did.
bad for him. I feel bad for because like once I like saw the story on
Right. His friend got shot. And
yeah, he's
they
just
didn't
like, y'all
feel
talking about
it.
practice right now? Like
I know, but I love it. It's one of the best lines in all of
it works
sports.
It works both ways.
It truly does, both ways. But as I started thinking about other great lines, God, we're all over the place. When I think about these other great lines from sports, my absolute favorite may be Andre Olowski was dating a ring girl. I forget which one it was. It was a very popular ring girl that I think she used to be in the UFC. I forget which one it was. And then Big Tim Sylvia dated her afterwards, and Sylvia would walk around with his belt like in the beach or in the mall, and so he's just silly.
I think I vaguely remember that, or I could be making it
We
up.
might have talked about this kind of once, not too in the very near future, or not too recently. I think we may have talked about it, but Ariel Helwani was interviewing Orlowski,
Okay.
and after the interview, or toward the end of the interview, he said, "So Tim Sylvia told me to let you know that he's dating your ex-girlfriend," and mentioned her name, the ring girl's name. He goes, "Do you have a comment about that?" And puts the mic in his face, and Orlowski said, "Ask Tim how tastes my big pee-pee." Checkmate.
Hey man, sloppy seconds.
Yeah.
We're good.
Think he
Why
won.
would Ariel Hawani even ask that question? That's so silly. That's petty.
It is. I think he's one of the best in the business.
Oh, he is.
And he treads so lightly. Like, there's all these things he wants to ask. And it's probably the right thing to do is avoid most of those things.
Yeah, it was fucked up when he got banned.
Yeah, it really was.
That was silly.
Dana gets upset about it.
He's a big baby.
Yeah.
Now, Ariel did have I don't know if it was a tweet or what it was. I saw a screenshot of it where he was talking about Masvidal.
Mhm.
He's talking about how he's been pro for 16 years. Like, think about, like, he was thinking about his like meteoric rise. Like, this year he's had like an amazing year. And,
Right.
But people forget, like, he's been pro for 16 years.
Right.
He's had like 40 plus fights.
Back to the Bodog days.
And
in the
he's
early
and he's
2000s.
just now getting popular, which is like
he's
unheard of.
He's a people's champ for sure. If you're in the fight game, you know who that guy is, and you can appreciate him. It's the general public who don't know him and didn't appreciate him.
Yeah.
You knew about Nick and Nate because they were probably a little louder, and on the hate to say bigger stages. There were stages with more cameras that had more access to regular TV.
Well, Nate grew up in the UFC. I mean,
Yeah.
he was just he was a young dude whenever he was on The Ultimate Fighter.
Yeah, absolutely. And you knew his brother.
Yeah.
So by proxy, you knew him and what you were going to get.
Yeah, gangsters.
But, and I love them, two of my favorites.
Oh, yeah.
But, Masvidal, Bodog, back in Costa Rica, been around forever. Or the fights with Kimbo.
Yeah. I went back. I was like, really? He fought then? And, I went back and I watched one. I was like, oh, I remember this fight.
Right.
And it was him beating up some the dude was huge. He's probably like 240, big black guy who was apparently like the champ of the streets at the time. Pieced him up, though. Probably like a 10-minute fight.
2-piece and a biscuit.
Right. Yeah, man. He's an OG, though. He's been around for a long time,
and that was really all around the same time when you think about the sport really kind of blowing up with the Ultimate Fighter coming out, with the rise of, everything that I can associate coming to fruition with the UFC or with fighting in general and all the organizations kind of forming.
Yeah.
Even when I think about Kimbo being underground, I think about Kimbo and Sean. Oh, I forget the officer's name that he fought underground.
I don't know his name, but I know who you're talking about.
I think it was an Irish name, and then he ended up getting a one-fight contract with the UFC as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was all around the same time.
I was in high school at that time.
Yeah, that's great. Okay. I think he called me old Rick.
I was like, Kimbo lost? What? Kimbo can't lose. Kimbo's a motherfucking man.
Yeah, I wanted to fight him so bad.
For real?
I did.
Yeah, man. When I got older, I realized how trashy he really was.
Right.
He was just beating up bums.
The Strike Force asked me one time when they were coming to St. Louis who wanted to fight, and I'm not gonna tell you all the names, but I picked some local guys.
Oh yeah.
I picked one local guy specifically just that I didn't care for, more of a promoter, and I started with I'll fight anybody.
Yeah.
And when they kept pushing it, and I literally said 8 times I'll fight anybody. They're like, well, who? So I mentioned a local person. Then I'm like, I really don't care. Just give me somebody to fight. And then they're like, well, name somebody. I was like, fight Herschel Walker. He was a legend. He was one of my idols growing up. I'll fight him. Would have felt bad.
Oh, man.
Because it would have really have been a fight.
Dude, he was a hell of an athlete. He beat up some people.
He's a phenomenal athlete.
Holy shit. Even at his age, like.
Period.
He's just a different human being.
Period.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been interesting.
It would have been phenomenal because he just, it's Herschel.
Yeah, dude.
He's the reason my neck was 20 inches at one point.
Yeah, man, he was something else. Just that sort of athleticism only comes around every so often.
I mean, if you think so I remember growing up being number 34 as a kid, growing up in Oklahoma as a running back. And it was Herschel, it was Earl Campbell, Walter Payton kind of thing. It was all those greats for 34, all the great running backs I knew.
Those number?
They were all number 34. And then this guy named Brian Bother showed up, and then I was like, I got to be 44. Then it changed after that. But, yeah, I mean, that was my homage to him. He was phenomenal, man. He's just like – so when you say once in a lifetime, once in a generation, probably more accurately, right?
Yeah.
Type of athlete to have – I mean, just there's –
well, shit, man, you got to shoot your shot.
You do.
It doesn't hurt to ask.
Absolutely. I mean, I would have taken anybody. Give me anybody. I don't care.
Yeah.
That's your shot, But
oh, yeah.
He was hot then, so I named him too.
But
I was like, whatever. It's the first thing that came to my mind, but I would take anybody. I don't care.
Strike Force was so good, man.
I preferred it when we had all those venues and avenues. Elite XC, Strike Force, Bellator.
Dude,
UFC,
WEC was
Pride,
the shit.
WEC.
Oh, my God.
I preferred having all of those. And I would go to a lot of the shows in San Jose, Elite XC's out there, because that was the home base for Elite XC. When I had a clothing line and I had a business out in San Francisco, I'd watch fights out there all the time in the Cow Palace, which was in San Francisco, and I forget the Sacramento, that venue there, and then the one in San Jose.
Yeah, I got to get back out there. It's so nice. I only went the one time in last November.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Oh, my God.
I love it.
You spent a lot of time out there.
Yeah, I did. It was good. It was good times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You ever think about living out there?
I considered it. But we do that all the time. Be easy to live anywhere other than where you're at.
Yeah. Yeah.
But no matter where you go, there you are.
Just own like a home out there.
If you got that kind of money to drop, okay.
Dude, you got to have a lot of money.
It's ignorant. So we're talking about Julius. So
we were talking about Julius. We talked about a couple different things.
We did. I have to, mark that moment, come back.
Yeah.
something. But I
'Cause I was
think
thinking about Masvidal too.
right. So we got to find a way
Meteor
to
rise. Yeah, Julius though, man, fucking savage. Just needs to be able to pull the trigger.
right, right. But
Yeah.
I get it. And the UFC in some ways forces you to not lose, you know. And I think it's great that they put the bonuses out there for submission or fight of the night, things like that. But the way the contracts are kind of structured, you know, you feel like if you lose, you're not going to get invited back. The only time I've really not seen that come to play, and it could be more of a status thing, though, was Vanderlei when he first came over to UFC.
Oh yeah, that's just because of what his name
Exactly.
was, and everybody knew he was gonna put on a show.
Right.
He was gonna put
People to see.
I think he wants to donate his brain to science when he dies. It's definitely Swiss cheese, 100%.
Yeah.
Like his brain is
He was hands down
fucked up.
my favorite fighter. You know, like
Really?
when the whole thing
The
kinda started
ex-murderer?
happening. Oh man, that dude was phenomenal.
It's a scary man to be across from, especially the TRT days. Oh,
we-
my
I
God.
think TRT may be an understatement for what he was probably
No,
doing.
he was doing a whole lot more than that. But
That was pride. That was all pride, yeah.
Could you imagine standing across the ring from that? Just
Mm-mm.
fucking
Mm-mm.
chaos. His head was bulging. Like, you could see the veins in his
yeah,
head,
yeah.
dude. And you just knew he was going to come out there and kill you. Like, he was
Like
just
an
all
expert.
hunched over.
Yeah.
Like,
Rolling his wrists and all that stuff. I love that
that
dude.
scared the shit out of me.
You know, he fought, I think it was his first fight in UFC, and then he may have lost it. And he was backstage, and he looked at Dana and said, "Boss, it's okay for you. It's okay. It's okay." And I remember Dana looked at him like, "Are you kidding me?"
Yeah.
He said, "You will forever have a job here as long as you want it." Because that's who he was.
Yeah.
And I appreciated that about him, that he threw everything out there and said, "This is what we're going to do. We're going to scrap, draw a line in the sand, and let it happen."
Yeah.
So
I watched an interview with him, and I think he said his very first fight, it was him and a few buddies. They just kind of took some fights on a whim, and they made a bet to see who could get the fastest knockout.
yeah.
Like, I think whoever won got either money or, like, the losers were buying drinks the whole
Right.
night or some shit. So he went out there and he just did his thing. And ever since then, he's been
That's
fighting.
just how he fought. Yeah.
He's been fighting like that ever since. You know who else would be scary to stand across the cage from? Anthony Johnson.
Yeah, he's so long.
Dude, he hits hard as hell. I don't care how long he is. He hits like a fucking freight train. Did you see when he hit DC? He flatlined. Like, DC
Yeah.
fell on his face.
Like sideways. But Anthony's such a good guy.
You know he's coming back.
Yeah,
Yeah, heavyweight.
yeah. He's scary. He did that to a whole lot of people, though. I think scarier than him in heavyweight was him at 170.
Yeah, but he was cutting from like 230, I think,
agree.
to get to 170.
That would scare me more. If we were walking,
Oh yeah, that'd be scary too.
if we walked in at heavyweight, you know, roughly the same size, you know, he's gonna hurt you. That's one thing. But if you saw him walking at 170,
Well, when he fought at 170, he was probably 200 at that time, right? So, yeah, you know, he fought Luigi Fioravanti.
Yeah.
For Fight for the Troops.
yeah, he's scary.
Yeah, dude, he's scary. He hits hard.
His head is bigger than that TV over there.
Yeah, for sure.
His head is bigger than Rick's head.
He's just a big dude, and he hits hard as hell.
Don't look at me like that. Breaking the
Rick in
third
the
wall.
background. I know. We're at to fucking get Rick a mic.
I think we should do that. Can we do that, Rick? Get a mic sometime.
After a couple episodes, Joe Rogan gave Jamie a headset.
Young Jamie.
Oh, they also have a studio.
He became the Robin to his Batman.
I know, but they also have a studio. Rick doesn't want a studio. He wants to keep it mobile forever.
Okay. I think it'd be interesting.
I know.
Yeah. So what's your space, mental space for competitions? Where do you get yourself to prepare yourself?
Dude, I don't even like think about them anymore. Like, this thing is coming up, I'm just gonna show up, and like once I'm there, say, oh yeah, I'm gonna look around, I'm gonna take it in, I'm gonna look at the guy. I'm just gonna try not to live, because if I live in my head too much, like that's
Right.
when chaos can happen.
Sure,
I'm just gonna
sure.
just go and just do, and just make sure I get a good. I just focus on the basics. Like, I'll get there, make sure I get a good warm up, make sure, like, you know, properly hydrated, nutrition, all that good shit's good.
So
Make sure I'm feeling good.
let's
I'm gonna
ask ourselves this question.
Go do jiu-jitsu.
Not to talk over you, but my question is, are we leaving money on the table by not like going to look at video or research people and things like that?
Maybe.
It's possible, right?
Yeah, I think it just depends on how serious you want to take the competition. And maybe that's some of my downfall is I don't take the competitions maybe serious enough because it's just jiu-jitsu in my mind. Like, I don't because the stakes were always so high for MMA, and I
Sure.
did that for so long. Like everything else is just that.
Right.
So don't even think about it. Like it could be. It's no different than just like waking up to me and like going on like a Saturday Fuji or something. Like whatever.
Well, even a Saturday Fuji's competition.
Yeah, you still want to win.
Right.
I want to go do that.
Right.
But like I'm not gonna get like
Worked up about
worked
it.
up about it, right?
Right.
Like I'm not gonna over analyze the situation
Yeah,
because to your point, as far as like it doesn't matter what situation arises,
you just have to be ready and prepared.
I'm already ready for it. Like I
Yeah.
feel like my jiu-jitsu is so well-rounded.
Right. Right. You just have that inner conversation in a different way.
Yeah,
Right.
and honestly, this is that purple belt. I don't even view myself as a purple belt, so I'm just like, okay, I'm just gonna go against a guy who I'm just gonna go smash.
Maybe he doesn't consider himself a purple belt.
Well, he's not on my fucking level regardless, so it doesn't matter.
Right.
That's really how I feel though.
Right. You should. That's good. Yeah. I think it's important. Yeah.
Yeah, because here's the thing though, because even if he doesn't view himself as a purple belt, right? I feel like it's easier to get belts at other schools than ours. So if if he's a purple belt there, then he's probably really like not even a blue belt at our school. So
Right.
I'm just gonna go smash a blue belt.
Right.
Like that's how I look at it.
That's
So
where
then
I
if
get
I
it.
view myself as not a purple belt, even like in our system, then I feel like it's just gonna be bad news.
So, is it then possible to get caught behind the 8 ball and have to play catch up?
In a point system,
Well,
yeah.
no, in the momentum system. Who cares about points? In the momentum system. I'm in a headspace of I'm a brown belt fighting a purple belt, so I'm not. And you could be speaking completely different, so don't let me put words in your mouth. But it could come off as a, well, you know what? It's not about him. It's about you. What you're
Yeah,
saying.
like I'm not gonna say
Right.
like I'm not gonna take this guy
Sure,
serious
yeah.
because you can get tapped by a white belt, right?
Right,
I mean,
absolutely.
you can get tapped with just the dumbest shit. So it's just all. I just look at it as just do it. It just stay to the basics. I just
Right.
focus elbows in. This here.
Right.
Posture
Good
there.
posture, right.
You know what I mean? Like create this angle, stay on
Chain,
this hip.
yeah.
Just the smallest little things. And if you're focused on those, then everything's good. So for me, it's just about like staying calm and
It's
like
about you.
not burning out my arms.
Right. Right.
Dude, that burnout's real.
I don't think I've ever really, other than being a white belt, I've never had that issue.
See, I was thinking about Worlds last year, not this year,
Right,
right?
right.
Last year. And
Oh, you mean the one you didn't come to?
Well, yeah.
Oh, you mean the one before you did go?
The one I went to.
Okay.
My
gotcha.
arms, forearms burned the fuck out. Like they're pumped full of blood, and I'm just like, why are they pumped? Like I
'Cause
don't.
you were working in college so much.
I was working the collar so much, but I think there was even one point where was I in side control? Maybe I don't know, but I feel like I was in a snowball grip, just like squeezing his ass
Right.
to hold him there when I was on top, and I'm like, why am I like wasting this? Like that's too much energy. I don't even do that in any other time when I'm rolling. Like I don't need to
Sure.
So the level of intensity is just taking up so much higher in competition because everybody's going so much harder. So you
Right.
end up straining harder and then you end up gassing out. So it's just about finding that balance between force and like being able to relax.
Are you having a conversation with yourself doing competition? That inner dialogue?
I will in this next match because I didn't have the wherewithal at Worlds to slow down and not gas my fucking
Gotcha.
forearms out. So now I'm aware of that now.
So it might also be more than an inner dialogue. It might be a game adjustment thing also.
Oh, for sure.
Because I don't focus on, and I know you, for instance, you love no-gi, right?
I like gi way better than no gi.
But if anybody were to have the conversation with you, they might think that you would be more no-gi oriented.
Oh yeah.
Just so you know.
Okay, that's interesting.
Right.
Yeah.
That being said, as a person that has wrestled before, I tend to not control the collars quite as much because of the natural hooks God gave you. And I know also when you grab the collars a lot, it burns your forearms. So I
Yeah.
tend not to do that.
Yeah.
I will, but I tend to break posture in a different capacity.
Yeah.
So that usually saves my arms, and it's more of a byproduct of the things I do, so it's just not a very big concern for me.
Yeah. I like pocket grips.
Mhm.
I think it's because in Worlds I was so focused on getting top and holding top that I wasn't relaxed because that's not my game at all. I'm almost always in guard.
Right.
So it's like I'm more relaxed there.
So why'd you fight that game?
Because I feel like I had to.
Did I make you feel like you had to?
Not necessarily you, but I just feel like it's just kind of get two early, make sure you be aggressive, get those two. Like, even though, like, I'm really chill. Like, I just want to let me get my fucking attachment and then pull guard and then go to work. But, like, it's always push, get two early, because if you start two ahead, then you're even, like, it's just not my deal.
Sure.
But it's like commonly preached. So I kind of just wanted to go out there and set a tone and be aggressive. And that part of that is get the takedown,
Right.
show dominance.
I know one thing we talked about, and this is the reason I asked, did I have anything to do with this? Because we talked about some of the speed bumps or failures even we've had as a team.
Yeah.
Where people not starting off immediately and waiting too long.
Yeah.
When Worlds is a different beast altogether, and people are coming out now to win.
Oh, yeah.
But I think establishing your game doesn't mean that you have to be establishing a takedown.
Right.
So I'm going, okay, I maybe should have provided more clarity also in saying for sure that doesn't mean that you have to go get your takedown, but you have to get into what your game is now.
Yeah.
And own those positions.
And that makes sense. Because the second match, dude, I was dead tired, and that dude could barely do anything. And I almost, like, got that inverted armbar even. And I was exhausted. And that guy had to buy.
We're having half conversations.
Yeah.
You know, I would start something, you'd finish it with action. There's a dream.
Yeah.
Then the body kind of got in the way.
It happens.
It can. It can.
What the fuck are we talking about, Tracy?
Competition mindset.
Yeah.
And,
I'll be ready, though.
and guard pullers.
I like pulling guard. I don't know why it's frowned upon. But
I don't think it's frowned upon. I think for a certain segment it is, but that's, I think,
yeah.
it's such a part of jiu-jitsu, who cares?
Yeah. No, I have been working more no-gi grips recently, though, because I thought that no-gi competition was going to be coming up pretty soon. That's getting pushed.
Right.
So I've been doing a lot of, like, underhooks, tons of just grabbing wrists, grabbing the neck.
Right.
Just basic stuff, like not grabbing any sort of cloth.
Right. It's what God gave us.
Yeah.
It's more natural.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
I have a strong ass grip. I feel like once I grab your wrists, you're gonna have a hard time getting away.
I remember being, I think Worlds 2 years ago and Worlds this year, and I had one of those death grips on a gi in a place where you couldn't afford to give it up, and my grip burning was never a concern. I questioned it and I asked.
Yeah.
And then I smiled and I was like, this thing's never gonna. I'm never letting go of this if I don't. Like, this is good.
Yeah, it's fine.
And because you always just kind of wonder, like Arturo Ward and Mickey Ward and Arturo Gotti, the boxers had. I think there was 3 fights they had. That big trilogy, it may have been 2, I forget, but they phenomenal fights, absolute wars. And I think in the second fight, possibly, maybe in the first, Mickey Ward, Arturo Gotti broke his hand in the same fashion that Faber broke his in the WC.
Oh yeah, he's just on elbows.
All elbows.
Oh man, that was a good fight.
It was a phenomenal fight, and I always think about, like, if I'm Arturo Gotti and I break my fist in the second or third round, it's a 12-round fight. Man, you have so long and so far to go. So that's my benchmark in jiu-jitsu when things get uncomfortable, because we'll always say you have to learn to get comfortable in uncomfortable situations.
Yeah.
And if that guy can go another 10 rounds or another 9 rounds with a broken hand, and you still have to throw it occasionally, then I can do whatever it is I got to do for 6 minutes.
Yeah, I can remember thinking to myself, especially after that Uriah Faber fight, what would I do in that situation? What do you do when you're in the middle of a fight and you break both your hands, or even just one hand?
You hope you have a great corner to keep things chilled and keep saying, hey, we're going to do this now to help you focus, even if you don't need it.
Yeah.
But it's good to have somebody there that's going, hey, you're doing great. You're on the right path. Who cares about your hand?
Yeah.
You got to throw it every now and then to keep them honest. It's going to hurt, but,
oh, man.
pain's pain.
Yeah, well, you hope you have, like, the gumption to keep going. Some people don't.
So that's an interesting thing. And something I actually want to talk about. I always believe in having full disclosure, especially like in my Sunday classes, right? I think being human is a beautiful thing, right? It's part of my charm, right? Right?
We're all human.
Right, we're all human. And I think it's important to address those things. Like we talked about anxiety. Everybody's got anxiety, but it's a matter of what you do with it. And just, it is what it is. Don't let anybody tell you different. And I actually read a post like that from Tom DeBlast the other day. He said the exact same thing about anxiety. Don't let anybody tell you they don't. It's there.
He's a wise dude.
He is. He's a wise dude. Um, so I remember being in a match, and I also had this thought at that time during my match, and I was thinking about MMA when you get stuck in those very uncomfortable positions. But we all know there's a difference between being uncomfortable and a submission,
Yeah.
and you just kind of fight through them. But you have to have those honest conversations with yourself, like, can I get through this? Will I get through this? It's no big deal.
Mm-hmm.
You know that if you're framing somebody and you have 300 pounds laying on top of you, which is a lot of weight, and
Mm-hmm.
let's say you move your arm outside your frame, person's going to take the arm Americana or whatever,
Yeah.
Kimura. And especially if you're at a black belt level and you make the slightest mistake, which might literally mean a quarter of an inch this way,
Yeah.
somebody should be taking advantage of it who's got that level. Who in that entire arena is going to say anything? Who in that entire arena is going to go, man, I can't believe he lost to an Americana? Or they're going to say, man, that guy was 300 pounds, a black belt, and was laying on him, and he took that arm. Nobody's going to know any different. They're honestly not.
Yeah, and here's the thing, though. So the person who gets submitted, they're thinking everybody's thinking about them getting submitted.
They're not thinking.
No one's thinking about them.
Thinking about
Only they are
Only
thinking
they're
about.
thinking about
Everybody's
that.
thinking about the winner.
Nobody, yeah, we're thinking about what they have to do.
Or
They're
that.
thinking about themselves.
Yeah.
Nobody's thinking about that, so we blow it up too much.
Yeah, we do.
But remember, this is your dialogue with yourself, so you're not focused on any of that.
Yeah.
But what's beautiful is that moment where you go, I don't have it in me. I would never do that. And that's a wonderful thing to find out about yourself. And that's what, to me, what jiu-jitsu is, what sports are, what competition is.
Yeah.
It's not about the other person. It's about finding out who I am every single time. And that's what I enjoy most about it. And I love laying it on the line. I love being in a situation where it could just change everything. And either you overcome it. It's not necessarily about winning or losing, but you always overcome it. But it's pushing through that and learning about yourself.
You learn a lot about yourself, and,
Yeah.
and when in those moments of chaos, like who are you in that moment?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, because those are honest moments.
The very honest moments.
When shit's hitting the fan, things are going, everything's upside down. You're getting hit, or you can't breathe,
Right.
or just everything's chaotic. Who are you in that moment? I seriously think about that all the time. That's a part of the reason why we do the shit that we do. I feel
Agree.
like we want to be able to slow down our mind in the chaos,
Right.
which is so important. When somebody's 300 pounds
Right.
and you can't breathe, you're like, all right, well, I'm not dying. I got a little
Yeah,
bit.
perspective. I'm okay, I guess.
I got a little bit of room to breathe. Just focus on my breath. But I take it to the next level. I sometimes feel guilty. I never joined the military because it'd be really cool to learn all that shit.
Sure.
And then also we just live in a crazy world, so
You never know.
things could break out at any moment. So I often think about what will I do in the chaos?
Right.
If some shit goes crazy, will I keep my cool and exit this room just
Right.
fine? You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
How is my mind gonna
Right.
react to that speed?
Right.
You know what I mean? So
I think it's fair and unfair. I often think about the flight that went down in Pennsylvania, 9/11, Pennsylvania, and the people were on the plane, and everybody's calling friends and family saying, "Hey, I'm probably not going to come home on this flight." And they tried to overtake, the terrorists. And I say it in all due respect, because part of me feels disrespectful even having that thought, and how would I react? Because I wasn't there.
yeah,
And what they did was so remarkable. And they did it because they had to. They did it because they were in that situation at that moment where it was, we're going, but let's try to save everybody else's lives. They did.
why do you have to go? Why did they have to go down?
I don't know that there was much of a choice. And it's either it's the old albino gator theory, right? Have you heard of albino gator?
No, what is
It was
that?
an old movie. So Kevin, it was an old movie. So the theory behind it is, every once in a while in nature there's an anomaly, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you'll get a white alligator occasionally.
Okay.
So what the other alligators would do, they'll stick the albino alligator, hence bino gator theory. They'll put it in the open in the swamp and let the other animals come to feast. And when the other animals come to feast, the other crocodiles or the other gators come out and attack the other ones and feast on them. So it's a sacrifice of one for the many,
Yeah.
for the masses.
Yeah.
So it's the bino gator theory. And I think when you're faced with that, which they were, and I'm not going to question it and say, well, couldn't you have, that's your instinct. Couldn't you guys, well, they felt like they could have, so who am I?
Yeah.
They felt like they were in that situation. And they did what they had to do, and I appreciate it. And they sacrificed their lives for many.
Yeah.
So I kind of feel disrespectful going, if I was in a situation, what would I do? I'd like to think I would have reacted. I'd like
Yeah.
to think that, but I wasn't there.
Right.
so I'll try to not to have hubris about that. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? But in this sport, in this cage, or on the mat, in my head, I start smiling when that stuff happens because that's when you realize who you are. Win, lose, or draw, you go, that's not in me. It's like I'm not going to quit. It's not in me. It's not there. But I think it's human to go, well, I could find that door and find that out.
That conversation is definitely going on in people's
Right.
heads. You know, I think for some people that that other voice wins out.
Sure.
But like in difficult times, I was going on my run today, and like there's a couple different points. I even had like that little weak little voice in there. It's like, oh, dude, you could just stop for a second and just walk, or you can just cut through this right here. Like,
Right.
like I was going through some switchbacks. I'm like, oh, you can just cut right here and just make this shorter. And I'm just like, nah, shut up. Like,
Right. You got to quiet the voice.
yeah, quiet
Yeah.
that, because like there's that dichotomy in all of us.
Everybody's got it.
Yeah.
Right. I firmly believe that everybody, and this doesn't apply to me, it's everybody else.
Of course.
That's my competition mindset is everybody wants to quit. You just have to give them a reason to want to quit.
Yeah.
So I can't swim, but I try to take everybody grab them, take them to the deep end of the pool and go, here, this is where we're going to exist. We're going to exist in this space right here. And I'm going to make you uncomfortable for the amount of time that we have to be here. I'm not going to do a Vandalay and try to get you out in 10 seconds.
Yeah.
I want to keep you here if we're supposed to be here for 15 minutes. I'm going to make you uncomfortable for an entire 15 minutes. And along the way, you're going to want to quit. But I'm not going to let you. I'm not going to let you. You're going to have to be here for the entire 15 minutes. I'm just going to keep taking your head and dunk you in the water. Then I'm going to go in the water and I'm going to pull you with me.
Yeah. I think the only way you get there, though, the way to cultivate that voice and that mentality is just to keep doing difficult shit.
Right.
Right? You got to challenge yourself. You got to
Right.
make yourself uncomfortable, right? So you can get
Always.
comfortable with it.
Always.
Yeah.
And I think it gets to a point where it's just second nature. You can just care less.
Yeah, that's how you get there.
Who
Cause
cares, right?
you
What
just
you're going to do me
quiet
hasn't
that
been
other
done.
voice permanently for the most
Right.
part.
What's another what's the worst thing that's going to happen to you at a tournament? Somebody put you to sleep?
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's like a constant thing. Like you have to like constantly be like working at it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For example, I mean, you can like say you cultivate that for a certain period of time, but
Right.
if you stop doing difficult stuff, then like it's easy to become soft,
It could.
right?
It could.
So it's
I think it could be.
you got to maintain it.
And maybe that's when it passes people by.
Yeah.
But I think if you're also realistic and in touch with who you are, I think sometimes that's the difference. When Kaiser Sose said, he showed men of will what true will was.
Gangster.
Right. To me, that was a big quote because that's what it's about.
Yeah.
Every time you walk on the mats, so show men of will what true will is.
Yeah,
You know,
man.
Usual suspects.
Dude, that's one of the most gangster movies. Kaiser Soze is one of the most gangster fictional characters of all time.
Right. Kaiser Sose.
Kaiser Soze. Dude, he killed his own family, bro.
He was Kukui.
And then he killed everybody else.
Right.
And anybody they knew.
Right. But I always think of that. Like if my idea of violence, right, and I truly mean this, I tend to think I'm not a violent person, but I have violent tendencies if I need to.
Yeah.
I'm not opposed to it, but it's always the appropriate tool for the appropriate job. And I'd prefer to be a peaceful man, but you don't always have that option.
Yeah.
The problem is that when I cross that line,
Yeah.
I'm a violent person. I've grown up that way. It's just what you have to deal with. I don't turn it off so easy, and I don't care about consequences when it comes to stuff like that. You made a decision to do it, and this is kind of what it is. I just walk myself in the police station and be like, all right.
What's that saying? It's better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war.
Right.
Yeah.
I firmly believe that.
Oh, yeah.
100% believe that. And I try to tell my kids that all the time. Like, be prepared for it. I'm just not a person of consequence when I have to cross that line. It's what it is. Because I believe if you did something so horrible to me to elicit that reaction, then you kind of get what you get.
Yeah.
And I would need to ensure that you won't come back and look for retribution.
Oh, yeah.
And I firmly believe that, and that's just how I'm wired. So I want you to leave with a limp, so I see you when you come back, and you remember me every day when you have to walk and to get out of bed.
Yeah.
But bad enough where when your son's of age, he doesn't want to come looking for me either. You go, it's not going to be good for any of us. I don't want to do that kind of thing. And I don't say that to want to sound all badass or anything. I think that stuff's overrated. That's just how I'm wired.
That's how you look at it.
That's how I look
your
at it.
mindset.
That's my mindset.
That's all right.
Yeah, it just is what it is.
We're all just people, man.
That's it. It doesn't mean it's the right thing to do,
Yeah.
but we're all flawed.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we all have dark energy.
Yeah, that's okay.
It's like the light and the dark.
That's okay. It's a yin and a yang.
There's dichotomy to everything.
It's got to be. It's the
We
balance.
live in such a time where people.
It's what makes us interesting.
Yeah. Well, sometimes I'm trying to find the words, but it's like sometimes people want to act like as humans, like you're either this or that. We're so quick to like label people, like you're
Yeah.
either this or that. We want to put people in boxes, but it's like life isn't simple,
It never will be.
and there's like there's two sides to everything
Right.
almost,
Right.
and there's always there's constant like this dichotomy, this
Sure.
balance that's always happening, and sometimes
I think one of the worst things you can do is label somebody or try to come up with
Yeah.
your impression of who somebody is before you know them.
like, don't even put yourself in a box.
No, not at all. And I mean, before we spent a lot of time together, you know, who you thought I was is probably completely different also.
Yeah.
I know the impression a lot of people get of me is completely different than who they end up figuring out I am. But
You're just very sure of yourself.
yeah, I just don't care.
Yeah.
And sometimes people take that as sometimes it's stuck up or arrogant, and I'm none of those things when people get to know me.
Yeah.
But I know people think that, but I don't really care because if you took the time to know me, then you'd know different. And if you don't take the time, then I don't really care.
Yeah. Well, and here's also the thing, though, and I think this is an important thing because you have to audit the energy that you allow around you.
Right.
And you don't just allow any bullshit around you.
I don't. And that's a lot of times why it probably comes off that way because I'd
Yeah.
rather not have those people around me. So whatever it takes, whatever energy I have to give out for you not to be around me, then
Yeah.
I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
But the people I want in my circle, I want around me, then I'll definitely stop and give them an opportunity. And
Right. Yeah.
chance.
100%.
yeah,
Yeah. It's just whether or not you just want to let that person around.
right.
Sometimes I make quick judgments about people.
And we can be wrong.
I'm just like, nope, you're not the one I want around.
Right. It just takes time.
Yeah.
You know, then, opportunity presents itself and situations change and the environment probably more accurately. And people have a chance to maybe show you who they are. You have a more open mindset to accept who somebody is.
Yeah. Well, we're always evolving, like through the seasons, like for real.
Yeah. And I mean,
Well,
glad I'm
hopefully.
not the person I used to be.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Yeah, man. You
But
guys used to be
families do that
crazy.
to you. And, oh God, yeah. Yeah. You know, we were at an event not too long ago and some madness broke out.
Oh yeah.
And I was very thankful that I evolved to the point where, I grabbed somebody and went the other way rather than what I know I would have done in the past. And that was not even ask a question and just start
Throwing hands.
just throwing, two-piece on a biscuit, right?
Yeah, man.
But that's evolution, and that's maybe this might not be the time to do that thing.
Yeah. I haven't been in many street fights. I've been in a handful.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. From probably day one of being a kid. My I got kicked out of the first day of daycare.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, apparently somebody grabbed my whatever toy it was. I don't know. We didn't have a whole lot, so whatever it was mine, and somebody took it, so I went and got it back.
Don't touch it.
Yeah, I got kicked out of daycare that day, and they called me Cassius Clay for the longest time. And then my dad tells a story. If you could imagine the frame of a TV, right? And he was standing in front of the kitchen sink looking outside the window outside the house. And there I go on my tricycle, in frame, out of frame. And some kid following me. Then coming back in frame is this kid on my tricycle and me walking behind the kid. And then he said the next frame was me on my bike, on my tricycle, come this way, and then the kid back in frame holding his eye. And he goes, I realized at that moment you'd be okay. I knew I couldn't come home without a tricycle.
Yeah.
At whatever age you're on a tricycle, I knew enough to know that. So, and I remember my bike also being stolen when I was probably in elementary school, probably 5th or 6th grade. And because I left it on the porch or inside the house and somebody took it. I knew I couldn't go in the house and say that to my mom. Because, again, we didn't have a whole lot. So I would literally remember sitting on the porch waiting for the next few hours. Like, if you're stupid enough to come by here, you probably live around here, and you're going to be stupid enough to drive back by.
Yeah.
And they came back by. I got my bike,
Yeah.
and I left it on the porch after that every day. Never worried about anybody taking my bike.
Oh man.
Yeah.
How'd you get your bike back?
Let's say I wasn't worried about it. Got my bike back.
So it just happened.
It just magically appeared.
Yeah. Well, man, you can't have that victim mentality, right? I
No,
mean,
you
so
can't.
many people want to live in a victim. It's almost cool to be a victim these days.
So in kids class, I tell them all the time, you were not brought into this world to be a victim.
Yeah.
Your parents did not bring you to me to be a victim.
Yeah.
I refuse to allow you to be a victim.
Yeah.
And I refuse to let my children, I refuse to let my friends have that mentality. You know, my mother would not allow me to be a victim or to claim victim type, tendencies to this day. I mean, she's a G, a 5 carat wearing gangster, and wouldn't accept it at this age. She'd be like, well, what's wrong with you? I remember posting on the team page telling people she was going to go to Worlds. And I said, so you better get right because she'll tell you about yourself.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, and she will tell you about yourself.
But she's so nice.
She is, but she'll tell you about yourself. And she does.
Oh, yeah.
You'll find out.
She's a gangster. Yeah, man, you just cannot be a fucking victim, dude.
Yeah, I don't understand that mentality.
Yeah, I don't understand it either. I don't know what is the driver there.
Maybe
trying to get people on your side, try to get sympathy.
Yeah, I think maybe sometimes it's just that internal struggle. I mean, sometimes I think it's lack of preparation, whether it's just an event of life, and then definitely lack of just having work ethic.
Yeah, we gotta take ownership. Like,
Right.
just own this shit, man.
Integrity.
Yeah.
What you do when people aren't around, which goes right back to preparation, work ethic, all those things.
Yeah.
All those things. And I think you realize it even more, and you kind of have to put your money where your mouth is when you do have kids. Because you start repeating all those things and saying all those things. Then you start looking at yourself going, do I have all those things?
When actions speak louder than words, dude, because it's been shown that kids actually are more influenced by, like, their peers. So it's really
Right.
important to, like, make sure they're around. But they're, like, from the time they're young, they're always watching you.
And they repeat what they see you do.
Yeah, like, you can say whatever you want to say,
Right.
but it really matters what you do.
Right.
That whole do as I say, not as I do shit, like, that's not where it's at. That's for the birds. Like,
Yeah.
you got to do it. Like,
I mean, I worry. Like, I worry that when I get frustrated with one of them, I try to audit what comes out of my mouth and how I say it.
yeah.
I don't want them to feel like success means winning, for instance. There's been times where they've lost in a competition. They thought I was going to get really upset. And it's like, no, I don't get upset if you lose. You're misunderstanding this. It's about the effort you put out.
Oh, yeah.
It's about the integrity you have when you win or lose, how you carry yourself. It's about your commitment to yourself and about the preparation, things like that. Those are things I care about. And if you do those
Yeah.
things and somebody still beats you, then, I mean, what are you going to do? They were better than you.
Yeah.
But what energies you put into that moment, those are things I care about.
Yeah, because the outcome is taking care of itself.
It's already been predetermined.
If you've already done everything else.
It's already been done. Right.
Yeah.
Those are things I care about. And you really start to realize that the more you have kids or young children around you or even students, whether they be adults or not, that stuff all checks you real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the greater responsibility. Becomes a whole lot less about you and ego and anything you might think of yourself.
Yeah. That's like a transition to where you move from worrying about, like you said, from yourself to the success of others.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a real thing. I remember listening to Mike Tyson on Rogan, and they were asking him, like, he still at the bag? He's like, can't. Won't do that. Do you remember listening to that one?
Yeah. Why did he say he couldn't again?
He said ego.
Oh, his
He's
ego?
like, oh, yeah, ego. And I get it. Like, I never knew how to express that. So when he mentioned it, it made sense to me and it rang true.
Yeah.
Because there's this, they say there's a fine line between genius and insanity. But there's a very fine line between being in that mental state you need to be in as a very competitive athlete.
Yeah.
And being a model citizen sometimes.
Yeah, well, the association for him hitting that bag is a whole different thing than most people. I mean, when he hit that bag, he was literally training to go murder a man.
Yeah, he was working through
with
things.
his hands.
But it really depends on your mindset and who you are personally. Because me in competition is also me standing on top of some bar doing some stupid stuff.
Yeah.
That I don't need to be doing. And that's just kind of the mindset that becomes very much a I have to find a way to all this energy comes with it. All this energy. You've seen me get heated and we've seen me get worked up. And I'm not always that way.
Yeah.
But I know that when I get upset, or if I get bothered, if I get mad, then that's not an easy place for me to come back from. So I tend to not try to turn that switch on.
Yeah.
Because once that gets turned on, it's not.
Sometimes it's like that,
It is. Sometimes it be that way.
Like, I blacked out or I just saw red. And
it
it's
is.
just like,
and I've been that way my whole life. So I like when he said that about hitting the bag, for me, it made complete sense because when it's competition mode or it's something different or it's when you're determined
Yeah.
Maybe that's the word. When you're determined about something, it becomes something different,
Mm-hmm.
something much grimier. And that's something I have to audit.
Yeah. I wonder if can that be taught? I don't think that can be taught.
I don't think it can be taught. I
Yeah,
think it can
that's
be.
like something
That's
innate.
just you are. I don't think it can be taught.
Yeah.
And like we were talking about worrying about competitions in your space and where you need to be. Like I always think, who cares? Because we performed on a Saturday morning when I first started jiu-jitsu every Saturday because the stuff we were doing Fridays and still show up at 9 a.m. to do that stuff.
Yeah.
And in a room that was what temperature with all these, air quote killers
Yeah.
that were trying to, take scalps, And if I can do it then, all I got to do is show up today and under good conditions and do it, man. I'm not worried about that.
Yeah.
Not worried about that.
You gonna start competing more?
I compete when I feel like it. It was the same when I fought. So I already signed up for Kansas City.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be good.
And I just had to do this, and I secured a couple of sponsors to assist with some of those things, some of the travel, to get that thing to do it more. But again, my time's not always my time.
Yeah.
Kids are in a sport. I'm in a sport.
Yeah.
So,
Kids got a lot of sports.
yeah, a lot of activities. But even with fighting, I fought when I felt like it.
Yeah.
Guess what? I feel like doing some stuff, so I'm gonna do some stuff. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, man. A lot of things coming up. October and November.
Yeah. They got to be worth my while, and they have to be worth the time.
You ever think about doing Nogi and Nogi Worlds in December?
Probably won't fit time frame wise, but I want it as purple.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it'd be great.
Be fun.
Be fun. I've always thought my level was higher without the gi than with the gi.
Yeah.
But it's like I did that my whole life is what it felt like wrestling. So I think that's why the gi piqued my interest a little bit more. It was something different.
I like the gi. I prefer the gi.
Yeah. It's just more technical, works with my mind a little bit more.
Yeah.
More to do.
I don't like getting wrapped. I hate when people wrap me up in the gi.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I feel like they don't really have like a good technique there. They're just wrapping you up with some shit, trying to hold you. Like they don't really know what they're doing.
Or
sometimes they do.
Or
sometimes they do.
They learn how to straitjacket people and choke you with your own stuff.
Some people do.
Yeah. So I tend to think that's more of they've got a game plan mapped out in their head of how to get there, and then figure out how to untangle this web.
I think it's like a scapegoat sometimes. Like, oh, this is an easy control. Let me just wrap you up with your gi. Let me just pull this here. I don't know what I'm really doing. Or they'll just like wrap you up like a weird way that's not a real technique, because they're just trying shit with their gi.
Why'd you let them get there?
Because I'm dominating on top, and they just start pulling my shit out of nowhere because they got tired of getting submitted. So we're talking practice here.
Right. Something you got to learn how to deal with, though. Right?
It just is what it is. I'm just bitching.
Keenan starts worm guarding you and stuff, and then you're
What's that? What's worm guard?
Oh, that's old, man. I need you to watch some videos.
Oh, God. I've never heard that.
Yeah, so Keenan will pull guard. He'll pull out the lapel, the skirt of the gi, intermingle it between legs and this and that, and then it's just almost impossible to get rid of.
Sometimes I'll pull out someone's gi and I'll grab it between their legs.
Yeah, like sit-up guard.
Yeah.
Yeah, sit-up guard. It's so much more intricate than that.
Oh, it's like a sweep every time.
It's like, yeah. Well, but a lot of it comes down to that game that people play when it comes down to that last advantage to win a match, though, too.
Yeah.
Because it tangles you up in that position to kind of get some things like that.
But that's like legitimate like strategy. You can tell the difference when somebody like has a technique.
Sure.
Or if they're just
I think worm guard is 100% strategy. I just don't like people play like I'm gonna play the percentages of sweep. I've swept. I let you sweep me. Now I'm gonna get the advantage at the end.
Yeah.
And that's a strategy, and I think it's a crutch.
Playing the system, man.
Playing the system, but hey, it's in the rules, I guess, right?
Yeah. Well, people are always going to try whatever. Like they're going to try to game whatever system they can, whether it's submission only or it's
in a lot of tournaments, no-gi tournaments, you can't use like a can opener.
Really?
You're inside somebody's guard, grab the head, pull the head towards your chest. All you have to do to stop that though is open your guard, and it takes the pressure off your spine.
Right.
But a lot of people use it as a way to open somebody's guard so you can pass. Some people use it as submission. Some tournaments don't allow it as a submission. So if I'm using it just to open your guard, you go, verbal tap.
Yeah.
Now you're DQ'd.
I feel like you're going to get armbarred if you do that.
You could, depending on how you could. But you have to open your guard, and that's the point.
You do have to open your guard.
That's the point, to do that.
Yeah. Do you do that?
No,
Oh,
do that.
I was gonna say like that's like
I don't know how to do that.
I don't know. I was gonna be so shocked, Tracy.
No, do that crap.
I say that's like such a low grade
It is.
pass. That and you know what? I guess I shouldn't say this is a low grade pass, but it kind of is, but it's not at the same time because Rodrigo like he'll put the forearm like actually on, but it's different when he does it.
Well, yeah, but you're talking about on the thigh, right?
Yeah, when people
But
start
put
driving the
elbow.
elbows in the thigh, that's so low grade shit.
Right,
Like, it
but I
doesn't
think-
work against anybody good.
Yeah, I think if you forearm and taking the
Forearm, yeah, it's a little bit different.
this space here to use that space as a means or as a tool
Yeah.
to open a guard is different than sticking an elbow in.
Yeah,
which is just pain.
It
I
is
don't care about that.
So what is that? You're just sitting there just like working a knot out right now.
That
Like,
just which I appreciate, but it means I'm going to hurt you
it really does.
later.
Yeah. Sloppiness, dude.
Technique means a lot, man. That's why people ask you who you got your
Means
belt
everything.
from, not what level are you. I mean, you get a black belt, I don't care. Who'd you get it from?
Yeah.
Who gave it to you?
But there's so many black belts, it's impossible to know them all.
Sure. And who'd they get their belt from and who'd they get theirs from?
Yeah, the lineage.
Go back
It's
and
not a
watch.
big. It's not a big lineage when you really think. I mean, how many are there?
For
Like
us,
the
I mean,
OGs.
we're, that popped up on my timeline on Jiu-Jitsu the other day. It was about this time last year, and I posted my lineage, which was, let's just say, it came from Japan, and then
Oh,
came from Japan. Yeah, there you go.
there we go.
Came from Japan. It's still off, I think.
Oh,
One ear.
I gotta get new adapters for that, but it's not affecting the recording. Oh, you're good.
Not anymore. Did yours do it?
Yeah.
All right.
Are we there?
Rick, fix him. What's going on with this guy?
No, he won't be able to hear it. I should have made sure. Your headphones still messed up?
Yeah. Crackle.
I don't know, dude. We're almost done though. Just keep talking.
Okay. So, we go from Japan right into Elio or Carlos, however you want to look at it. And that goes right to Rickson, which goes right to Rodrigo and directly to me. So, I mean, to me, it doesn't get any better than that. It doesn't get any better.
It's the best we got right now. Yeah, no, Rickson's the fucking man.
Right. I mean, that's straight from the root.
How many people? Oh man, these headphones are fucking with me right now. I gotta get new adapters. Is that working for you? It's working for me. It's only working in one of yours.
1 ear. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, Rickson's a man.
All right, Rickson is the man. We'll wrap it up on that, Tracy. It's an hour anyway.
It's coming in, it's going out. But direct lineage is huge.
Yeah, it really is. But it's so hard to keep track in the sense of, so we know like the main Gracies, right?
Right.
But then you get like the Machados. Are the Machados the only one in the Gracies family that don't have the Gracie name?
No, they're cousins,
right?
They're cousins. But yeah, it was like one of the sisters
Yeah.
married a Machado. I think even what's his name? The big one, the tall one. That's Hodger.
Yeah.
Hodger technically blood is, but his mom was a Gracie. His father's not.
Right.
But he took the Gracie name. I would too.
Exactly.
Of course. But his father's freaking amazing too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think the Machados are the only one who didn't get the Gracie name.
Yeah.
I think that's what Jean-Jacques was saying on JRE.
Right. They're phenomenal. I used to go train with Carlos in Dallas sometimes. They're all phenomenal. Jean-Jacques and the true essence of jiu-jitsu with only having, the one true hand and then the other hand, not having full grips.
Yeah, he's missing fingers.
Yeah, and being able to still do all it. I mean, it's amazing. It's a testament to will, fortitude, and then the sport.
Yeah. You think most of the Gracies, or at least those old school ones, are in the States now, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's where the money's at.
Yeah.
Right. That's how everything happened, in the 80s. The money was here, so let's go conquer that thing and introduce, these Westerners to this thing we do. So I had that conversation. I feel like I keep having a lot of conversations, and I keep saying it that way. I got to find a different segue. The Dirty Dozen.
What's that?
We got to pick up your level here, Adam. The Dirty Dozen, the first Americans to get black belts from Brazilians.
Oh, I know Shane Maxwell is one of those.
Yeah, and it's amazing when you look at that list and how. I mean, there's no better as much as Kaiser Sose is a pretty dope story or dope name or character. To have that, to have been, knighted
Yeah.
as one of the Dirty Dozen for the rest, it'd be amazing.
Oh wow.
Be amazing.
I'm gonna look this up. I didn't know there's 12 of them.
Yeah. And I think they probably just picked an arbitrary number since
okay.
that pre-existed and said these first 12.
Oh.
It's pretty badass. And, their lineage and who they got them from, they're all, huge names.
You know any on the top of your head? Chuck Norris? I know he got his black belt from Machado's.
Yeah, he wasn't one of the Dirty Dozen, though.
Okay.
And I can't remember all the names, but, there's some amazing people on that. And even the people right outside that initial circle is pretty amazing, too. And then you forget how this thing is all pretty recent.
Yeah.
So even
like
you would be
30,
familiar
40 years.
most likely with most of the names, even right outside of that Dirty Dozen, and go, oh, yeah, okay, I know who that guy is. And even more so, I feel horrible for the women who didn't get as much attention. And there's some dirty women on that Dirty Dozen for women that were amazing, too, and pioneers. And they get looked over way too much.
Speaking of pioneers, you know what I need to read? What's that book you told me to read? A Fighter's Tale?
Fighter's Heart.
Fighter's Heart.
Yeah.
I still have it's next on. I'm gonna read it after I finish this book that I'm
really
reading
good.
now.
Really good book. And then Fighter's Heart, then A Fighter's Mind.
Yeah.
And then my friend Valerie Worthington wrote a book, and it's sitting next to it's on my dresser as well, and I can see it, and I forget what it's called right now. But she's got a really interesting story. She trained under Carlson Gracie in Chicago. And I believe she was a purple at the time, and he died, so it was just junior. So she decided now she had this opportunity to kind of go out and explore now that, she was kind of a Ronin, so to speak. We talked about that last time.
Yeah.
And she decided to take her jiu-jitsu pilgrimage and just travel the world and have merry adventures. So she sold her condo, bought a car, quit her job, and went and traveled. And the first place, or one of the top 3 places she stopped in the beginning, was St. Louis. She went on a message board and said, this is where I'm at, this is what I want to plan, where should I go, what places should I stop by? And we popped up on the message board. Somebody popped up and said, go to St. Louis, ask for Tracy, go to Rodrigo Vaghi's, go train there. It's one of the places you have to stop on a journey, which I think is actually pretty cool that we got mentioned in that whole thing.
Rodrigo's that deal. We're pretty fortunate to have him here.
Yeah. And Training Wheels is what the book is called. And she came, she visited, she stayed, she hung out, she watched fights with us, she trained with us, and she blogged the whole thing online as she did it and watched her adventure. It was cool to see her just traveling the country and her progress through. And I would go to tournaments, maybe in California somewhere, and I'd see her and we'd touch base every couple of months, and you could see her belt level just kind of increased, and all of a sudden she's a black belt, and it was just like, hey, that's my friend who's traveling the country. And kind of be part of that whole thing. She even reached out when she was doing the book, and she's like, hey, can I use your name? And can I use Rodrigo's? And at the time, I think we were going to be the only 2 names she was going to mention in the book.
Oh, that's dope.
And I was like, you can't do that. Like, you need pictures and you need to mention names, because I think that's documenting the journey is what makes it important.
Yeah, documentation is huge.
I think it's huge. I think it changes the game. I think that it was such a big deal. Like, even to be a player in her history of time.
Yeah, when was
this? No matter
this?
how small. Man, probably 2006 or 7 when she did that.
It's
but
a while
the book's
ago.
in the last 3 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, she slept on couches. She made her way to Alaska. She did it all. Did it all, saw it all.
Wow. That's a hell of a journey.
It would be, we call those people jiu-jitsu bums. But not her. Like, she was actually looking for something, and I think that's pretty cool. I think there's a difference.
It's all about the journey, really.
I agree.
We're all on our own.
Right.
Sometimes you're a jiu-jitsu bum.
And I'd take it in a second.
I wouldn't mind it.
I'd love it.
Yeah.
I'll figure it out. We'll get there. We'll do it.
We'll get there. All right, brother. Let's wrap this up.
Hey, I want to be respectful of your time and Rick's time. I always want to say that.
Well, dude, the thing is we can talk.
Oh, now they want to work.
Oh, yeah, they're working now?
Yeah, they're working.
The thing is we can talk forever. It's just now we're just trying to keep these to a good time frame.
That's all right. We'll come back. We'll be back soon.
All right, man.
Appreciate it.
All right, that's it.
Cue the music.